JBN, we keep you informed. Taxi operator charged with firearm-related offences. Investigators from the St. Andrew North Division have arrested and charged a man in relation to an incident that took place on Burke Road, Kingston, on Sunday, August 23. Charged with discharge of firearm within 40 yards of a public thoroughfare and illegal possession of firearm and ammunition is 38-year-old Jermaine Bartley, otherwise called Kevin, a taxi operator of Burke Road in the parish. Police reports are that about 2:30 p.m., Bartley and the woman had an argument when it is alleged that he brandished a gun and opened gunfire in the air. A report was made to the police, and Bartley subsequently turned himself into the police. He was charged following an interview. His court date is being finalized. Teen caught hiding behind a bar with gun after robbery. A 17-year-old boy is now in police custody following his arrest on suspicion of robbery with aggravation and illegal possession of firearm and ammunition in Balaclava, St. Elizabeth. According to the police, about 2:50 p.m. yesterday, the teen and another man allegedly held up the cashier at a hardware store in the community and robbed her for sum of cash. The police said a swift response by Balaclava officers to the alarm that was raised led to the capture of the teen, who was found hiding behind a bar in the area. It was reportedly searched, and a .38 revolver loaded with 5.38 rounds of ammunition was taken from him. The police are encouraging his accomplice to turn himself in immediately. Doctors report lack of staff to handle COVID-19 cases at the University Hospital of the West Indies. Hours after it was revealed that the COVID-19 ward at the University Hospital of the West Indies is now full, news has emerged that the institution is without adequate staff to handle coronavirus cases, resulting in patient care being delayed and doctors overworked. A group which identified itself as the Internal Medicine Resident Body has written to the president of the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, Mindy Fitz-Henley, claiming what it says are untenable working conditions at the University Hospital. The group said the COVID-19 team is currently staffed by members of the Internal Medicine Department, comprising a consultant and sometimes 2 or 3 residents, medical officers, senior house officers who cover a shift from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 2 residents cover the night shift from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. According to the letter, during a shift, the residents are expected to care for, investigate, and institute management for suspected and confirmed COVID cases. It said some of the patients are severely ill and are mechanically ventilated with a limited involvement from the intensive care unit staff. The group claims that the small team is also expected to field and see new referrals for suspected COVID patients from the Accident and Emergency Department as well as other hospitals. It said when the letter was written, there were 31 patients admitted, with some sections of the COVID-19 ward exceeding capacity. The group said faced with various responsibilities, a shift that should ordinarily last 12 hours can sometimes exceed 18 hours with little or no break or rest. As the number of COVID-positive cases continue to rise, the medics say working conditions have become more burdensome, and their colleagues are at risk of burnout and dying from the coronavirus. It was also reported that some members of the team on the COVID ward have collapsed from exhaustion. It was also reported that in some instances, patient care was delayed because tubes needed to be placed and mechanical ventilation required, but there was inadequate staff and resources. The group says its concerns have been raised on different occasions with the heads of the department and the hospital, but have proven futile. Meanwhile, it is understood that attempts are being made to arrange a meeting with the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association and the University Hospital to discuss the concerns raised in the letter. Man arrested following St. Andrew gun seizure. The police arrested a man and seized a Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 3 9mm cartridges along Halfway Tree Road in St. Andrew this morning. The identity of the 21-year-old man, who is of a Kingston 12 address, is being withheld by the police pending further investigation. The police report that about 6:45 a.m., a team was on patrol in the area when they saw the man walking along the roadway and acting in a manner that arose their suspicion. He was stopped and searched. According to the police, the gun and ammunition were found inside a knapsack he was carrying. He was subsequently arrested. PMP backtracks on plan to give monthly credit towards electricity and water bills for all residential customers. The People's National Party has backtracked on the promise in its wealthy plan to apply monthly credits to electricity and water bills for all residential customers. Damien Crawford, chairman of the PMP's Manifesto Committee, is now stating that only about 360,000 households will benefit as a part of a COVID-19 relief program. He said the program will be for only 1 year and reviewed after. We are making that correction, that it is 360,000 households. That is basically middle managers, supervisors, teachers, police persons, entertainment practitioners, and small entrepreneurs. They'll be covered in more than 2/3 of the households. There is no way that the leechings of this country need $4,000 from the government, Mr. Crawford asserted on Thursday. Asked how the party would decide who qualifies for the assistance, Mr. Crawford said the cutoff would be households that use no more than 165 kilowatts per month. He said if the People's National Party wins the September 3 general election, the party would aim to begin the utility credit system by the end of October. Western hospitals willing to accept spillover COVID-19 cases. With the COVID-19 isolation wards at the University Hospital of the West Indies and the Princess Margaret Hospital now at their full capacities, the Western Regional Health Authority has indicated that the main public health facilities in Western Jamaica are willing to help ease the burden by accepting some patients. Errol Greene, the regional director, said yesterday that the Cornwall Regional Hospital in Montego Bay, St. James, the Noel Holmes Hospital in Lucea, Hanover, the Savanna-la-Mar Public Hospital in Westmoreland, and the Falmouth Public Hospital in Trelawny are equipped with additional facilities for isolation and ventilation treatment. We are prepared to support the national call because we have prepared all 4 of our hospitals in the region. We have expanded our facilities to ensure that we have isolation wards that are ready for any such situation, said Greene. We have increased our intensive care areas and we have put in additional beds and other additional facilities to accommodate isolation and to deal with persons who need ventilation. From what we are seeing, we really can't let our guard down, Greene said. In May, the Cornwall Regional Hospital was outfitted with 15 beds for potential COVID-19 patients, including 4 with ventilators, and an additional 12 beds were later supplied to the Taipei Hospital. In June, the Savanna-la-Mar Public Hospital got 5 patient monitors for COVID-19 treatment. While he could not provide an updated figure on the number of beds at the hospitals under the WRHA's management, Greene said that the region was willing to do its part in treating as many coronavirus cases as possible. While we might not be able to handle every single situation that comes from other sections of Jamaica, we have put things in place to at least respond favorably to the needs of the region, said Greene. There has been an exponential increase in COVID-19 cases in Kingston and St. Andrew, as well as St. Thomas this month. The Ministry of Health and Wellness yesterday reported that the COVID-19 wards at the St. Andrew-based University Hospital of the West Indies and the St. Thomas-based Princess Margaret Hospital are at full capacity to house coronavirus patients. It said that protocols are in place to facilitate patient transfers if necessary. More pencils for polls, each to be sanitized after use. Nearly 100,000 lead pencils will be used in the island's 7,000 polling stations next Thursday as Jamaicans elect new parliamentary members in a general election over which a deadly COVID-19 pandemic looms large. Director of Elections Glass-Paul Brown said that it is the first time that so many lead pencils will be used in a national election, roughly 90% more than those used in previous polls. The increase forms part of the efforts to try and stem the spread of the highly contagious coronavirus among electors, with the pencils sanitized after each use. We have roughly 7,000 polling stations. Some polling stations will have more, at least 10 or 15 pencils. If you give a station 15 per se after the first 10 is used, they'll be sanitized and the process continues right throughout the day, Brown said. The presiding officer will have a number of pencils, and as soon as a certain number is used, a member of the sanitization team will come and clean them. Each polling station will be given a certain number, but the presiding officer will have additional pencils, he further explained. We have worked out an average number to be given to the station, and one factor was the number of persons who are registered. Normally, a pencil is tied to the voting booth for each elector's use. However, with the unprecedented conditions under which the polls are being held, the Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, said it was making sure that no two electors use the same pencil without it being sanitized. Some of the pencils being used for next Thursday's elections were inherited from the last polls, Brown said, and the same process of saving them will continue. At JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.